Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Super Castlevania 4 tournament of 2021. I hope everybody is having a fantastic evening. We have a fantastic race that is going to top all of the lists of top 10 anime rivalries for the year between LordFancypus and RetrophileTV. Joining me today in the booth is none other than Eagle Eye Jones for commentary. How are you doing tonight?
Thanks, I'm doing very well. Yeah, it's kind of like Groundhog Day for me. Another day in the commentator's booth. But hey, I'm having fun doing it, so all's well. And I'm very much looking forward to this match. Indeed, it's an old feud going on between RetrophileTV and LordFancypus. They've been at each other's throats for a couple of months now, always topping off their PBs. But it's a friendly rivalry, really, and I'm very much looking forward to the epic conclusion of this season finale, if you want.
Absolutely. This is going to be one for the ages. If anyone who's been following this rivalry, it is exactly as you said. Over the past couple of months, they've just been topping each other. The second that one gets a PB, the other one is right there chasing the heels. And they are very much in a friendly rivalry that is there to make things very much exciting. They are in their the closest PBs that you could imagine. As I mentioned, they're chasing one another. So tonight, we are going to absolutely see possibly the end of the rivalry to see who really is the best under pressure for Super Castlevania 4. Now, just as a quick note to everybody, please keep in mind that there is going to be a little bit of flashing and bright lights on the screen. So, photosensitivity warning just ahead for anybody who is currently watching. There are a couple of levels that are going to be a little intense. We will do our best to warn you, but we can't catch them all. And just do your best to watch your eyes, because it can get a little flashy, not just with the skills that we're seeing.
Yeah, very much so. So just keep an eye out for that, literally. And RetrophileTV and LordFancypus, they are only 20 seconds apart from each other on the SRC leaderboard. RetrophileTV is sporting a 36.04 as his PB, and LordFancypus a 36.24, so he's only 20 seconds behind. So in other words, it's really nothing. And it doesn't have any weight to give a clear statement of who's gonna win this race tonight.
Absolutely, it is anybody's game. So, without further ado, we are going to jump right into this. We're going to signal to our racers to make sure that everybody is ready. If we can have our moderator take care of that, we are going to get this race started so that we can see who is the best between these two rivals. We've got double readies. Race is starting in 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The racers are off. We will sync up the feeds so that we can get everybody aligned properly. Wish all of our racers good luck, everybody. Come on, chat. Let's blow this up for them.
Yep, Retrophile is already off into stage 1. We're gonna take a few moments to sync this up. And stage 1 is very much about getting the cross fast. It's about using your boost fuel, in other words, your HP, to damage boost across as many of those enemies as possible to give yourself a foothold in the race and settling early nerves.
Absolutely. Everything about this game boils down to 3 easy steps. Step 1, get the cross. Step 2, keep the cross. Step 3, do not die. It is just that simple. All right.
Yep, and
LordFancypus is now up and running. We are just waiting for the synchronization to begin, and we are going to be able to see exactly where both of these runners stand as they approach their way through stage 1-1 and make their way into the rhythm of this game.
Yep, looking good. We're synced up right now, and both are pretty much exactly on the same stage in stage 1-1. I mean, really, what is to be expected? RetrophileTV with a little trouble there, getting up to the skeleton, but no problem. Going to the next screen. This is where the cross comes into play for the very first time, and it's very much your duty to keep this cross, to build multipliers, and to keep it, really, until the end of the race.
Absolutely. It seems that so far, though, nobody has really optimized the boosts that are available in Stage 1. Now, of course, Stage 1 is the one where everybody's going to be playing the most of. You can't get to the rest of the stages without going through it. But what you really want to do is utilize the positions of the enemies in order to be able to boost yourself forward, since you take damage faster than you walk. That's kind of like real life, when you run faster when you're scared of something. But right now, some of the racers, unfortunately, were not able to get all of the boosts in order to optimize their time. And you can see this slightly within A, the HP difference between the runners, and B, the position on the screen. The one that's slightly ahead has slightly less HP, as he was able to use those boosts in an optimal manner.
Yep. Oh my, LordFancypus taking an early death.
What? No.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate, but that's okay though. On the first stage, it's not the end of the world. You haven't really lost all too much, but you do not have your cross, if I'm not mistaken, until stage 2.
Yeah. He's now out of crosses, and that'll set him back, unfortunately. Retrophile going strong, utilizing the Medusa boosts to get him across even faster. Now approaching the room that has the first stage boss, which is Rodane. And Rodane is merely a matter of placing your first set of crosses in a correct manner and whipping one more time to collapse his skeleton horse, as you have seen here, and then just crossing him down and hoping he will not jump up and give you a troll move.
Yep, that is a textbook kill from RetrophileTV, and he absolutely has a habit of jumping up, by the way. Rodane will, more often than not, if you are not quick enough and lock him into position, he will jump and try to spear down, and it doesn't seem like very much when you're only losing a second or two, but when you think about the optimization that is on this level, a second or two is a very, very big thing. Now, Retrophile, moving on to the second stage, where we have these RNG hands that are going to try to grab you, slow you down, and try to get in your way. That doesn't do any damage, it just ruins your time, as you can see right there.
Yeah, gets grabbed by one hand. Hasn't lost so much time, but he didn't want to do that.
No, absolutely. Now, Retrophile is slightly ahead, but LordFancypus has indeed started up on stage 2. There is plenty of room here to make up for that lost time. There are many mistakes to be had, many boosts to take and to miss. So this is still anybody's race.
Yep, very much so, and there is actually a cross here. LordFancypus crossed the candle where a cross is, so let's see if he will actually track back, but no, he just goes ahead because the next cross is on the next screen, basically, where RetrophileTV is now, so we'll just wait out until he's on the screen, get it back, and hopefully get his race up to speed again.
Yes, indeed. It's very difficult when you lose your cross, because not only are you out of the one item that really pushes you forward and gets you through the rhythm of the levels and makes it very smooth, and something that you're very used to as well, but you also have to build up that combo one more time and be able to get 8 hearts in order to be able to access the combo meter, and also to do 10 points of combo damage in some way, shape, or form, whether it be to projectiles, candles, or enemies. So the amount of time that takes is not only you breaking rhythm and dying and acquiring that cross one more time, but also to build up that combo, which could be detrimental. So now here, LordFancypus is indeed going for that backup cross and a little bit of that safety meat while he's at it, as RetrophileTV jumps into a kissy kiss with Medusa.
Yeah, very quick encounter with this. Oh no! Oh my god, LordFancypus taking another death, falling off the bridge.
Oh,
or
no.
The platform before the bridge. Very nervous start from LordFancypus here. I mean, he was nervous getting into the section of the stage, not having the cross, having to whip down basically everything instead of just crossing his way through. That'll, unfortunately, now he takes another death, and that'll set him back.
Yes, it will set him back, unfortunately, but I know that he has indeed been practicing his whip strats. We have a lot of people who have much better times than us and a lot more experience who have been suggesting that we practice on our whip percent in order to make certain that if we lose our cross, we do not panic. We make sure that we go to something that we are familiar with, that we can jump ahead with, and maintain a solid pace without losing too much time and get back into that cross rhythm, which is so important.
Yes, absolutely. And you can see that LordFancypus was not calculating for not having the cross in this stage. I mean, it's basic stuff really for a runner to get through this stage with the cross, and he just was not prepared for it. You can clearly see it. While RetrophileTV is already moving through the caverns, and here it starts to get technical. Jumping over these mudmen can be a real chore. If they hit you, you're gonna lose 4 pips of hit points, so you want to make sure to either jump completely over them, like Retrophile did here. Yep. Getting a good pattern, taking damage on the second mudman nonetheless. And now he's got to back up a little bit for these bats instead of just crossing through them.
Yeah, those bats seem to be a little out of place, and he seemed to have forgotten to throw, or maybe the input got eaten as the cross didn't seem to go out. Now, you're absolutely right on the Mudmen RNG, really playing a lot into the way that you handle the second stage of Stage 3, well, second screen of Stage 3. As you can see, he had to take a little bit of time to take out those Mudmen because they were not playing nice, and he needs that HP in order to be able to accelerate all the way through 3-2, including getting the ring glitch, which we're going to be seeing coming up, which is a little glitch within the game where if you attack the ring with a limp whip from the northern side of the ring, the game thinks that Belmont can rise up against gravity and go vertical. Oh, close.
Yeah, like being demonstrated by RetrophileTV.
Fantastic.
And he's still got enough health to do the eyeball boost in the next stage, the next segment, the submerged city. Now, LordFancypus on the right side, he is back in the saddle, so to speak. He has the double shot now taking his boost across the Mudman, and now entering shortly stage 3-2, the waterfalls as well. And I'll be looking forward to seeing him build some confidence in utilizing the ring glitch.
Yep, absolutely. He needs to take a quick breath, exhale, realize that this race is still a one and done aspect and anything can happen. We have seen stairs bosses in Stage B. We have seen bad bats in Stage 9. Anything can happen at this point in the race. It is anybody's race. It's a matter of being sure that you can execute it cleanly and consistently. So it's even though LordFancypus is currently a little bit behind and is doing fantastic work on this ascension, let's see if he can get that ring glitch, close the gap just a little bit, and try to deal with RetrophileTV's lead.
Yeah, he's having trouble. He's not getting the angle he wants to. Like on the 5th try, he got it now. I mean, might as well just taken the long route. I don't know if he saved any time there by going up the ring glitch on the 5th attempt, but nonetheless, it'll build his confidence to the point where he knows, okay, I can still play this game. And that is the most important thing, that getting knocked back by those fishmen, and those fishmen jumping up is a complete random, so you really don't know where they jump up. You have to react in a matter of split seconds. Retrophile on the left side, almost with a quick kill on the Orphic Vipers, looking very good for him.
Yes, it is. That was I'd say one cross away from the quick kill. There's a little bit of a timing where you have to overlap them because of the amount of lag that Orphic Vipers produces. You can kind of use that to your advantage and have those crosses stay on for the iframes. But if you're not careful, you will lose a lot of time and possibly get knocked into the water and lose your cross again. LordFancypus is currently in a little bit of a situation where he is out of rhythm with the eyeballs, creating... he's able to get out of it, control the situation, and push through to be able to move on to the second half of 3-3. While Retrophile is going to be starting off Stage 4 and going for a couple of boosts to be able to get ahead and then face Poexel at the end of this stage.
Yeah, scary stuff from LordFancypus here. He had to deal with 2 eyes, he had to deal with low HP, he had to deal with those water spurts from the fishmen at the very same time coming from underneath him. So he was quite in a pickle here. Has to be careful not to bonk his head on the ravens or the bone dragons to suffer a premature death before reaching the Orphic Vipers. And he won't go for the meat. That is an interesting choice, because one hit of the Orphic Vipers will spell his demise.
Yes, it will. But he was able to determine whether or not he needed. He tried to manipulate the skeletons to make it work, but unfortunately the skeleton was not playing around. Let's see if LordFancypus can get the quick kill to save his HP. He gets the quick kill.
Pretty much, HP. Yep. Nicely done by LFP.
Very nicely done by LordFancypus, as Retrophile is now entering what is known as the stay still stage for me, where I take a sip of coffee and relax for a second, as he does the Freddie Mercury pose for a little bit and takes a breather. You do not need to move on this level. You are perfectly safe if you crouch and stay still. So, don't move, things go easy. But of course, we can always show a little bit of swag, as we've seen from our previous runners.
Yeah, and RetrophileTV is able to do the swag ring snap from above. He's able to do it, and he tried to do it in a race I've done with him prior to this tournament race, and he did it, and the second time he did not, so for this race he was opting to just not do it, just play it safe.
Absolutely. There's a little bit of pride on the line between these two runners that we had discussed before. So this might come into play, whether it be more nerves if you lose or you're slightly behind, or it could be more excitement and motivation for you to be able to push forward and lock in those safe strats as you need them. Now, as Retrophile is currently going through the Mode 7 level 4-3, we do not want to kill anything. We want to try to keep things alive. Unfortunately, we had to take a couple of things out, but there is lag issues with this one.
Yeah, very much so. So skeletons can pop out these pink windows, and by killing them, you will induce massive lag into the stage. It's basically just a graphic overload, so that the game will slow down considerably. Now, RetrophileTV, is he setting up for the zip? No, he isn't.
We were looking for it. I was like, he might, because I know that he tried it. I've seen him do a couple of meme tries and attempts and just go, hey guys, let me try this out. Does it 10 times and doesn't get it. But I think he has indeed gotten the zip once, and if he was willing to try it there, that would have been brave, and we would have commended him one way or another. But he took it safe, and there's nothing wrong with that as he pushes forward underneath these purple crushers.
Yeah, actually, Retrophile, he did the zip successfully in the practice run I've had before this race with him. And he was priding himself on doing it on the first try, but of course, for a race of this magnitude, he won't go for it. He'll just play it safe, and it paid off. He's still very much in the lead, and he's now gone up to Coronat, folks. Photosensitive warning for this boss.
Yeah, it gets a little flashy, even though it's a quick kill. But you're absolutely right on the sake of getting a trick. Just because you get it one, it's not a one and done. You need 2 to make it true and 3 to make it free. And there's no way that any one and dones are making their way into this. Let's see if he gets that early orb. Come on, Retro.
Yeah, very good Coronat kill on Retrophile's side.
Ooh.
Almost.
Tried for it, but unfortunately I don't believe the platforms were in his favor. I don't think they were high enough. But you see now LordFancypus is making good time, using some boosts off the skeletons to try to catch up inside of that 4-3 section, making his way into 4-4 to see if he can go ahead and close this gap. From what I understand, according to chat, thank you very much, by the way, chat, that there is approximately 1 minute and 20 seconds, 1 minute and 30 between these two runners. Now that sounds like a lot, but all that is one death. One death without a good place to get your cross back, and that gap is closed, my friends.
Yeah, it really is, and especially with Retrophile going into stage 6 soon, taking a death on stage 6 can be very, very costly. And if you, for example, if you suffer a death on the chandeliers, it'll take you back all the way to the beginning of the stage, and you have to get your cross out of the secret room. So let's hope for Retrophile he doesn't suffer a death there, but if he would, the gap would close.
Yep, and it's very easy to get knocked around by a couple of these harpies, as they are RNG, one of the few RNG things of this game. But even though there are few RNG things about this game, they made sure that they were significant. And as the hands previously, those harpies are there to appear randomly, slow you down, and ruin your day. Retrophile taking a little bit of extra damage and not getting the boosts on 5-2, unfortunately, as LordFancypus is now fighting with Coronat. Coronat not playing nice, but he was able to get a pretty good kill. Let's see if he can get the early orb as Retrophile leaves stage 5. No.
Nope. So Retrophile now entering the aforementioned castle, stage 6-1, and this is a tough stage overall. It's a long stage. It requires a series of precise jumps, precise cross throws in the upcoming skeleton hallway, and it's very much the first true test of the runner's mettle. As far as precision and precise jumps go.
Yeah, it is pretty much mapped out. This entirety of this level, save for the dancing ghouls towards the end, is entirely is planned out. There is no real RNG that you have to worry about. Everything is scheduled. It's all about the runner's inputs and the way that they can execute them. So towards the end, though, the dancing ghouls or the dancing ghosts, which is the first appearance that you will see these dancing ghouls or ghosts in the Castlevania series, are completely RNG on where they are going to be starting on the screen and bouncing around the room. Unfortunately, there's no real way to control them, and they might get in your way. So you're going to see a couple of safety crosses as you get towards that section towards the end. But right now, RetrophileTV is absolutely destroying as he pushes his way through the chandeliers and into the second half of 6 as LordFancypus pushes his way through stage 5.
Yep, and here comes the first test. In killing these ectoplasms for RetrophileTV on the left side, you have to make sure to jump over this axe that spawns out of the candle there, and not to get pushed back by either the ectoplasms or those maidens, those ghostly maidens, to not get pushed back into the axe, which tends to happen. And the placement of this axe, deliberately done so by the programmers to lose you any weapon you might have up until this point. Nicely done on the bat boost up to the upper ledge.
Yeah, LordFancypus now pushing his way to the chandeliers. And you bring up a good point about that. It's almost as if the developers knew about speedrunning before they even had any concept. As a lot of these issues, when you are having these approaches to these levels, at a certain point, the speedrunning strats do indeed get a little easier, but as you begin to optimize it, you can see all these little headaches that just don't seem to be coincidences, as you can get knocked back or knocked into the holes from any type of damage. So right now, we are dealing with Retrophile in the lead by a solid chunk still, as LordFancypus is making his way through the final step of the chandeliers and RetrophileTV through the bone hallway.
Yep, Retrophile not having any trouble so far with the hallway, getting through without having to stop, and that is pretty much the paramount goal here. Just get through, throw a bunch of crosses, place a few good whips, and just get through these 2 parts of this skeleton hallway up until the next stage, where the first thing to look out for is the coffin boost.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to attempt... No, he's not. He's just going to clear out the coffins to make sure that there is no issues. Maybe a small boost towards the end, but not a quick coffin boost, as LordFancypus is now going to be dealing with those ectoplasms, which can only ever have 2 on the screen, by the way. So if you leave them behind you, you don't have to worry about the second ones coming through, but you do want to remove them because they can be a headache. Retrophile now dealing with the dancing ghouls that I had mentioned previously, and the animated tables, which, you know, is a little Beauty and the Beast when you think about animated furniture coming to get you.
Yeah, you had to deal with a little trolley dancer pattern here, but now up to the 2 dancers, no problem, quick kill, and that's stage 6 for RetrophileTV.
Yep. Do you think the dancing ghouls are faster, or Medusa is faster there, Eagle Eye?
I think the ghouls are faster. Because
either way, both are blink and you miss it, right?
Yeah, blink and you miss it for both, but the dancers have a favorable pattern for the stacking of crosses. They really move into the stack of crosses, as opposed to Medusa, who moves rather back.
It's true, she does indeed jostle, and it's almost as if that in and of itself is unpredictable. Retrophile now moving his way through the library at an incredible pace, doing a fantastic run so far. As far as I'm aware, I believe he's on PB pace so far, and he's pushing it all the way to the limit here on this race against LordFancypus, leaving nothing under the table, putting everything on the table.
Yep, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing the book jump in action, because he was talking about, and he was practicing it a lot, and he will feel that he's on a good pace and that he can be on an even better pace, and I think he will go for the book jump.
It all comes down to confidence and whether or not he...
Ballsy jump, ballsy.
Oh, he's doing it!
Yep, he is.
He gets it!
Nicely done. Oh, the LordFancypus getting trolled by the dancers, by the specters. Now having to take the meat.
Yep, he should be fine though on the dancers, on those dancers without any issue. Moving on to stage 7, as Retrophile makes short work of this stage.
Yeah, opting to not take the rosary. Opting to not take the meat. Just push on. He's going very strong right now, RetrophileTV. He's built up massive confidence. He knows that he can run this game. Now falling behind in pace, if I read his red number correctly. But it doesn't matter, he's still going very strong. Now taking the statue boost up to the corridor before Cirque Cool. Let's take a look at the boost.
Yes, this alleyway, this corridor of sorts is a headache and a half, where if you do not get the right axes, you do not read those boosts properly, you get stuck in a damage cycle, and that is bye-bye for you and no crosses for Dracul. But thankfully, RetrophileTV able to make short work of this night and move on to stage hate, as we love to call it, with this love-hate relationship for the for this level. And LordFancypus going to the book jump. We don't know if he's going to be able to attempt it. I know he's been putting practice in, but it's a matter of where is his head at when he is approaching this situation.
I don't think he will.
No, he did not. He set up for safe. He knows that he needs to make... It's not worth the 3 or 4 seconds setup save that it is for the risk of having to redo that whole level with no cross.
Yeah, absolutely. In the back of his head, he will be thinking, okay, I've suffered enough, and I need to make sure to get through the race from now on as comfortably as possible. So, and the save... If you take the 3 or 4 seconds into account versus 30 or 40 seconds, if you fail to do it, yeah, that was the better choice.
Absolutely. If we were talking about a little bit more of a PB difference, or where we think these two runners are going to be winning by mere lengths of a hair, then we would be talking about a much bigger issue with that book jump.
Retrophile with a 1-frame jump under the crusher.
Lovely 1-frame.
Difficult to pull off, but he's a master at it. He gets it almost every time.
He's very comfortable with that, and he has a little personalized technique that he uses to make sure that that thumb only hits it for 1 frame, because Belmont does indeed have different heights depending on how long you hold that jump input.
LordFancypus getting trolled by the bat ball baseball man. Having a little trouble getting to Cirque Cool. 2 hits would be enough from Cirque Cool to kill LordFancypus at this stage. Let's hope it doesn't happen.
Nice. Good kill.
He's done well.
Yeah. Now, Retrophile was talking about possibly doing another path. No, he is sticking to the potion path instead, which is going to, instead of saving a couple of extra seconds, he goes down, makes sure that it's a safe...
Will he be rolling on Vegas?
Oh, I think he will be.
Let's see. I mean, he did so in the tournament already.
He's got to feel it.
He doesn't have to prove anything. Oh, yep.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow, RetrophileTV, let's give up a hand. Let's get some cheers in the chat for that Vegas, people.
Oh man, he's always rolling on Vegas. He's a ballsy player.
We got it, though. That was a fantastic Vegas. For those who do not know, that bridge, usually the safest way is to wait for a cycle and read it after. But if you are feeling like you've got a good rhythm and they've spawned properly, hit those stairs, get that boost, and run across and make that gamble. And as LordFancypus right now pushing forward to 8-1, getting a bunch of boosts into a cycle, which could be dangerous, or a way to save a bunch of time. Let's see.
LordFancypus was trying to take the top route with the eyeball boosts. He wasn't successfully at it, but he got through, and that's the thing that matters. Now hanging on to finish the rest of the stage until he gets the wall meat, which puts him back on his feet.
Yep, LordFancypus knows that he is probably playing from behind with that mentality, but he doesn't know that all it takes is one small mistake from Retrophile and he can easily close up that gap. There is a 1 death difference between these two runners right now, and while mentality and skill do come into play, anything can happen with this game, and I'm pretty sure we've all said it before. How did I die this time here?
Yeah, very much so. But still, Retrophile is going strong. He hasn't suffered a death yet. And stage 9, a very technical stage, very much the wolf in sheep's clothing. And one misstep, one thrown bone in your direction, and you're not paying attention, could spell the death of Simon. So you have to be very much on the lookout, be very careful where you tread in this place.
Yep, now LordFancypus coming up to Vegas. I don't believe he will bet on Vegas, as he's going to be playing from behind a little bit. He has to believe that that Retrophile also tried to bet on Vegas and possibly lost as a strategy. These two are very familiar with one another, as we've mentioned multiple times before, so the mentality game is definitely into play here.
Yep. now fighting the monster. And I mean, the monster is a pretty easy fight compared to the stage you have to do before that.
Yep, a one touch from any of the... Oh no, RetrophileTV got stuck without a boost. That's very rare.
Yep, it is. Losing a few seconds, but not very much.
Nope, now he's going to go ahead and move his way up to our loving friend Richard Bones. Let's see, kind Richard, who is not too rude, not in the way, as LordFancypus is now starting stage 9, slowly closing the gap towards the mummy. Wait, is it mummy? No, bats! Zap bats!
Zap bat, yeah, and also here, photosensitive warning for the end boss of the stage. Flashy images, so... yeah.
Yes, every single hit of the Zap Bats is going to flash the screen, and when there is a victory, there is going to be a large amount of flashing. So if anybody, watch yourself, toss your glasses on. Here we go. We are aiming for 22 hits from RetrophileTV to try to break this bat apart, and we want it to be very low. The reason why we want it to be very low is because when it breaks apart, A, we want to be able to throw as many crosses as we can at the bats that are going to be there at the bottom, and B, we want a low momentum, because the higher up they go, the more they swoop and swing down. It seems that RetrophileTV got a very good break, but unfortunately was not able to capitalize on it, and now has to try to wrangle these chaotic bats, which is a little bit costly in time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Zapbat, for many runners, is the least favorite boss of the entire game. Because of the way these 3 bats spread. And it's a combination, really, of skill and luck with this boss, the way he disperses. I mean, you can decide this breakup in your favor, like you described, when the bat is flying low. But it's always a bit of luck involved in this fight.
Absolutely. You can only control so much, and when one of your targets turns into 3, you can try to wrangle it, but unfortunately, it's a matter of what the game decides to do at the end of it all. As RetrophileTV now making his way into A1, the Ascent, the mandatory clockwork stage in all Castlevania levels. Let's see how well he's able to handle this. That was a little bit of a scary moment with that bone pillar, as LordFancypus now making his way into the 9-2 Ascent just before Zap Bats. As I had mentioned, this gap that is between these two, it looks like they are about a stage apart, but they are not. They are merely one mistake away from making sure that this match is breathtaking.
Yeah, still close. I mean, like you said, one death could decide, or could close the gap considerably, so RetrophileTV knows that, and he will be on his lookout to not take any missteps in A, because missteps in A, they pretty much spell your death.
Yeah, there is no such thing as recovering in A when you lose pattern. RetrophileTV doing a little bit of a boost off the Medusa head, which if for those who are not familiar, those spikes are absolutely fatal, and sometimes the gears and the cogs will ruin you and kind of bump you into them or have you fall in between the platform. If you take that Medusa boost, you're actually able to walk off with the momentum of the boost and push through without even having to jump or risking anything. That saves you a couple seconds as well. Right now, LordFancypus getting a good break on the Zapbats. These might have this under control. Look at that. Man. That is the way that bad boss is done. Very good kill. Everybody, take notes on that.
Yeah, now closing the gap even further. Now RetrophileTV's... I mean, he probably doesn't know about that, but again, one death of RetrophileTV could mean that we're having a race here again.
Absolutely, and deathless is not a word commonly spoken when we talk about Super Castlevania 4 speedruns.
Yep, absolutely not.
Now, RetrophileTV moving to the bridge, which requires a couple of more cross tosses, but he should be able to face the mummy without any issue. Mummy be kind, mummy dearest, play nice. As there are a couple of spawns which are optimal for this boss, and a couple of them that are not necessarily favorable. RetrophileTV getting trolled a little bit by the mummy spawn here, but not getting the bandages that are a big risk. He should be able to pump out a bunch of damage as LordFancypus makes his way into A1, the Ascent, to slowly close the gap to make a race of this event.
Yes, very much so. He decided to skip a few of these bone pillars the way up. Had to fight with a bit of lag, getting that skeleton on the lower stairs killed, but now proceeds into the second screen of A. So far, so good. And now Retro killing the mummy, moving on to stage B, and stage B is where the stairs boss comes into play.
Yep, that issue that we've been fighting this entire time where you can sometimes pass through. The designers were like, you know what, instead of fixing it, let's make an entire level about it and call it a stairs boss. The mummy, though, unfortunately, was not too kind to Retrophile, as if I'm not mistaken, he had a 3 cycle and had to deal with a couple of bandages off in the corner, which is one of the most dangerous patterns that you can get, as well as one of the least optimal for damage output. Now, Retrophile making his descent. That was close. Close.
Yeah, LordFancypus losing much time there with the 2 Axe Knights. He had to fiddle around a bit and kill some Medusa heads, and not what he wanted to do.
No, right now it's a matter of keeping things in control and taking a good solid breath and making sure that you play consistently, as these last stages are indeed run killers.
Yep, and Retrophile now moving into the last portion of stage B before the boss rush, and this is pretty much where the shit hits the fan, because these stairs are treacherous and you need to take care to absolutely direct Simon up these stairs. You don't want to push anything else than up, or the direction plus up, to keep him going onto these stairs, and you can lose your footing when trying to jump onto these stairs, so gotta be very careful here.
Absolutely. This is one of those things where the extra step to align your jump to make sure you get that running start is absolutely worth it. If you clip one of those stairs and you do not get a perfect ascension, they will drop and you have to either die or just straight up give up, because there is no ascending any further. LordFancypus now pushing through the end of A2, dealing with a little bit of mummy business, but he got the good post now, so he should be able to finish this fight off with a couple of crosses and a couple of good whips into this cycle, as RetrophileTV now climbing to the spiked platforms with the cross, 40 hearts, and a almost full bar of health. This is going to be in Retrophile's hands to lose.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it really comes down now to Slogra. Slogra can be a real pain. If he decides to troll you, he can charge and charge and charge. He can maybe even do the troll charge in the first phase. We will see.
Yep, the odds, if I'm not mistaken, on that troll charge in the first phase are somewhere close to about 15%, the odds of him pulling that move out. And in all honesty, there is no avoiding it, as you are supposed to be crouching in order to be dealing with Slogar within that phase. Now, moving into the second phase, Retrophile was actually able to do a boatload of damage with that triple cross setup, and is now resorting to a little bit of a backup whip strat in order to make certain that the rest of this fight goes as planned. There is very much chaos that things can get out of hand.
Yep. He wanted to avoid getting charged by Slogar early on in the fight to conserve a few health points, and he did so.
That was very close. As
it's a good thing he avoided some of the damage in the first place, because that could have killed him.
Absolutely. If he would have went with an aggressive strategy and tried to just pump out crosses, I believe that it could have been a death for Retrophile, but fortunately for him, his decision to stay conservative and a little bit safe very much paid off for him, and now he's moving on to Gaibon, which is barely even a boss after Slogra.
Yep. Especially when you are in the possession of triple crosses, he's gunned down pretty quickly.
Yeah, when you deal with a short whip, on the other hand, or a low percent, that's a different story. But right now, Gaibon is indeed a slight joke, as LordFancypus is now running up the stairs, dealing with the platforms, cross in hand, a good count of hearts, and a nice bar of health. He is getting a poor pattern, but reads it early, gets onto the stairs, and handles the rest of this ascent. Now it is Retrophile's turn for death. He has practiced this to optimize it very well, and he is going to be moving on to Drac very, very shortly to finish off this race.
Yep. Not getting the optimal pattern on death, but a good kill nonetheless. He will be going to the secret stash. I can pretty much guarantee you that.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way. Even with as you move on to the second room towards Dracula, you will have 10 hearts and 5 pips of health in order to help you along the way. Otherwise, you should stop for that secret room to get that extra little bit of health. Unless, of course, you intend... Oh, really? To get the meat pattern from Dracula. Now, it's very possible to manipulate that, but it's a little spicy. We might see a death here from Retrophile, as Fancypus is now making his way through Slogra.
Yeah, as I said, Retrophile has a 3604 as his PB. He might be smelling new PB on the horizon, so maybe that's the reason why he didn't go for the secret stash.
Going for all or nothing.
Yeah, very much so. Getting some bad spawn patterns though. I mean, right now he kind of wishes he would have gone for the stash.
Oh, and he skips the meat phase too!
Yep.
This is unfortunate play style for Retrophile, but he may still be able to make this work. He's not a sloppy player, so it's a little bit tight, but it's a nail biter, but it's definitely not out of his hands, as LordFancypus now making quick work of Gaibon as well.
Yep, and he gets the meat. He gets the meat. Whew. I was almost thinking he would be resorting to pause strats for the second phase, but thankfully he wouldn't have to.
No, this is now Retrophiles as he comes in towards the very end. A good portion of health and a nice pocket of crosses to be able to finish off.
Yeah,
that should be it.
That's
is
it
the
now.
end for the race for Retrophile TV. Great run from Retrophile TV. Can I please get a bunch of GGs from the chat? And do not forget to keep cheering on for LordFancypus as he makes his way towards the end of the death fight and makes his way towards
Good
Dracula.
death fight, by the way.
Fantastic death fight.
And seeing that LordFancypus suffered quite a few deaths, they're not really that far apart. So, GG LordFancypus, he really kept the momentum going as best as he could. And
yes,
now
he could.
going into Drac.
He did a fantastic job of closing the gap and being consistent even after the deaths that he took. While there is indeed a definitive winner within this race, Retrophile TV, congratulations on that win. LordFancypus should absolutely be proud of the run that he put out, and also the recovery that he could have made if Retrophile even made so much as one small mistake to be able to catch up on the heels of our leader.
Yes, very much so. And LordFancypus, he didn't catch the meat going up to Dracula there, so he went into the fight with 4 missing hit points. That could bite him in the ass right now. He's only 3 health points left now. Has to get through this phase. Hopefully he'll get a meat.
He should be able to get a meat in the second phase. We're having a little bit of a lag issue. I don't know if anyone else is currently viewing that, but everything should be a-okay. Oh, yep, we're smoothed up now. That might have just been our feed. We are good to go as...
Didn't get a meat.
Oh,
now
no.
Going into phase 2 with 3 hit points. Let's see.
Pause strats being used here in order to see. Now, because of the animation, you can pause just as the lightning appears and read where Dracula is going to be fighting and dropping these lightning strikes on you in order to help survive.
That's it.
Yep, that is indeed LordFancypus's time with approximately a 38-0 something, 38XX. Please give a big cheer to our 2 racers and GGs all the way across the map for both Retrophile TV and LordFancypus, our fantastic runners for today. We're going to have them in the booth here to interview them one at a time. Thank you so much, runners. Let's go ahead and get these guys in here once they press done.
Yeah. D&D, man, what a race. What an epic conclusion to this rivalry of those 2 friend runners. Was it what you've expected?
Yes, I think that this gap right here is approximately what we had expected, and honestly, throughout the entirety of this run, it was anybody's race. We were waiting on one mistake, one hiccup, one slip-up, and that's all that it would take. The tension was high all the way through. Even though there was an early death and a little bit of chaos from LordFancypus' side, he was able to still make such a strong presence within the race that if there was so much as one mistake that from Retrophile TV, that he would be able to close that gap and be able to make a statement within this race. But unfortunately, towards the end of it all, he was not able to close that gap to be able to redeem himself in a sense due to that death. And Retrophile, congratulations, you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much, by the way, for joining us in the booth right now. How do you feel about that run? Congratulations. Oh, we have audio.
Retro, we don't hear you.
Sorry about that. My apologies. I'm really sorry to see LordFancypus go. Overall, I'm just glad that was me and him together at this point. I even said beforehand that no matter what happened here, we were gonna have a good time with this, and it's always been a friendly rivalry between us. And I'm sure he put up one hell of a fight, but unfortunately, Unfortunately for him, I was deathless. This was 9 seconds off my PB. I had a massive gold in stage A, or sorry, stage 8 rather. Unfortunately, I squandered it in the last stages or so. But yeah, it was a good run all around. I cannot complain about a 36.
Well, that was a fantastic display of skill. As you said, it was deathless. We have not seen very many of those, and it is indeed an achievement just to be able to run a deathless run within a race when it's a one-and-done aspect. You did a fantastic job keeping things at a consistent pace, deciding what was actually worth going for. I noticed that book jump. That was fantastic. You practiced the hell out of that, so good job on that one. And I also noticed that the zap bats were a little bit out of control. Well, how did you feel about that?
Oh, that fight was awful. It was it's just they would not die no matter what I would do. I knew I put them at a really bad spot and a bad angle, and just like they just bullied me really badly. So that's the majority of where that time went after stage 8, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that you've had a couple of good fights with that, a couple of bad fights. That's Zafbats, right? It's a matter of trying your best to wrangle the chaos that is that split after it comes down after the 20-second hit. Is there anything that really stood out to you within this race? One of those moments that really did you think that you were behind at any time?
I didn't. So what I like to do when I run is I run at a vacuum entirely. I turn off all distractions as best as possible. Even within race time GG, I actually uncheck or check the hide results tab, so I don't even know when the competitor finishes, so I can just focus entirely unwavering on the race. I will tell you that my heart rate spiked when I got the 1-frame jump, and that felt really
ours
good.
too.
You got a lot of reaction from the crowd on that one. That was very much a momentous occasion where it can go either very, very wrong or, in your case, very, very right. So very good job on getting that 1-frame jump. It's very much a level decider if it goes wrong. So congratulations on your win, RetrophileTV. You are going to be moving on to the next bracket, if I'm not mistaken, the next opponent. We will see who that is in a short little period of time. But first, we're going to go ahead and follow up now with our runner-up, LordFancypus. Fantastic run. You may not know this the entire time, but you're going to see this when you play the video back. You were on his heels for a good portion, despite the death that you had taken earlier on. If he had made one mistake, you were still within a fantastic position to be able to either overtake or compete within some way, shape, or form. How do you feel about the run that you did so far?
The first 2 stages were scary, to say the least.
Yeah,
those were. I was highly disappointed, of course, with stage 1 and 2. I just did not handle my race jitters very well. It was really kind of off kilter, back on my heels those first 2 stages, and I don't know how many times I died. At least twice in stages 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So that was rough. Trying to catch up after that. I feel like once I got through stage 4, into stage 5, into stage 6, I finally felt comfortable. I finally felt like I was past it, and really had an amazing rest of the run.
Yeah,
probably
absolutely.
the one of the best Zaf Bats fights I've ever had in a run. And then stage B, maybe apart from the Drac fight, but got the quick kill on Gaibon, got a very quick kill on Death. So overall, I'm happy with how most of it went. Just wish that I had started off a bit stronger.
Yeah, and I mean, considering that you had taken these early deaths in 2 and just shaken your confidence, your final time of 38:09 is just fantastic. I mean, considering that you had to settle these early nerves in the way you had to. I mean, Retrophile, he is maybe the little bit more consistent player, and he had a deathless run with his 36 almost being a new PB. I mean, if he had a better fight on Zepspad, he would have PB'd. So that's pretty
awesome.
much a very, very good accomplishment. But still, you came back so strong, and after settling these early nerves, we were just like, is he gaining? And you were gaining. And after we saw this fantastic Zapspad fight, we were like, okay, Now these guys are just one death apart. One slip up from Retrophile TV would have squared you two completely out, and we were kind of hoping for not for Retrophile to die, but to have this exciting decision at the end. So kudos to you. That was, after 4, a fantastic race of you.
And I have to give it up to Retrophile for just playing that consistently. GG to you, man.
Seriously, thank you.
I knew going into this race, and I know how Retrophile runs. He is a guy who delivers under pressure, and I know he works really well in a race setting. And I've had several races against Retrophile, and have not been able to come out on top in any one of them. But I know that he's a guy that whenever the heat's on, he really brings it. And so I knew going into this, it was going to be tough. That may have added to my race jitters just a bit, just knowing that he and I were going to be going into this. But like he had said, and I caught kind of the end of what he was saying, we've just had this friendly rivalry. I've got the utmost respect for Retrophile, and the time he puts in on this, we came up learning this one together, and just really happy that we could come together in the tournament. We knew coming into this, only one of us was going to be moving forward, and congratulations to you, man.
Oh, thank you. Truly a gentleman and a scholar, and living up to your name, just all class from everything, from the beginning to end. My friend, it truly was a pleasure for us to meet in a tournament like this. Oddly enough, I was kind of happy that you and I had a chance to have a match together. I just wish it was on the winner's side so that neither one of us had to go home, but unfortunately that's not how the structure went. But let it be known that LordFancypus is a fantastically skilled runner who is going to get a very large PB at some point here. We're going to end up joining the 35 club at some point. We're getting really close. I've knocked on the door a couple of times, and I know that he's been on pace to get there as well. So, yeah, I was definitely nervous too. I wanted to deliver a good show for you guys, and I told you.
Yeah, and you did.
Beforehand, LordFancypus, that I would not pull any punches, and I went for everything. I went for the one frame jump, the book jump. I bet on Vegas. The only thing I kind of skipped was I had a chance to do the zip, and I decided not to do so. Just kind of walked away from that one, and I'm kind of glad that I did.
Yep, that was that not going for that zip was probably the reason as to why you won this one, because if you would have went for that zip, it would have been down to the hair, and it's very much possible that 45 seconds, a minute here, a minute there, it could have been a different outcome. So thank you very much to both of you for putting on such a fantastic race. The rivalry continues as it is put to rest for the night, for now, for at least within a tournament setting, but I'm pretty sure every single week these two are going to be competing with one another to top one another and to always have a good time, whether it be racing or just playing the game. I want to go ahead and say thank you to our racers. So again, RetrophileTV and LordFancypus. I want to thank the producers of this, so restreaming tonight, Socrates, and as well as Manix, who is helping setting this up. I want to thank the chat, who is here every single time that we've got a race. Thank you very much for hyping up this whole event and making sure that our racers feel the love and appreciation that you send out. And I want to go ahead and thank also my colleague here in the booth, Eagle Eye Jones, for joining me in the commentation of this fantastic race between two great runners, great friends, and great rivals. So thank you very much, Eagle Eye Jones, LordFancypus, RetrophileTV, and everybody else out there. Thank you so much for being here and making this game and this tournament so much fun.
Yeah, my pleasure. Likewise.
So everybody, have yourselves a good night, and we are going to be racing again very, very shortly. So until then, keep on running, speed run something, race something, and we will be seeing you very, very shortly in the future. Have yourselves a nice evening, guys. Goodbye.